Yeah, if you haven't seen it by now, you're one of like the 5 people because this made so much money.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate, oh yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this year, Marvel is skipping San Diego Comic-Con, Mike.
Yet again.
What? So why even go? Huh? I don't even know. Just skip it. We are Venom, Mike.
We are Venom? Is that a question mark?
It's a statement with an upward inflection on the end. And MoviePass's golden days are over, Mike. I'm sorry to tell you.
And deflated balloons. Yeah, so just a public service announcement. For the next 2 weeks of the podcast, we will be doing a spoiler-free versions where we won't be talking about Infinity War in great detail.
Or its ramifications.
We of course are going to talk about it. I mean, we're going to talk about box office. We're going to talk about other things that don't involve spoilers around this movie. But you got if you haven't seen it yet, I'll give you like 1 weekend leeway. Just because, there's things out there. We got moms and dads that listen to the show. You got like soccer games and whatnot. You can't always drag your kids where you need to drag them. People got busy lives. And, since I am probably not as sympathetic as I should, we'll throw an extra week onto that. So this week's episode and next week's episode will be spoiler free for Infinity War. So just do your damnedest to go see it because you're going to be doing yourself a favor because you don't want it spoiled.
How many times have you seen it?
Quite a movie. I have seen it a second time. I just got back from my second viewing.
Okay.
My first viewing, I saw how I see all of movies that I want to see. I just saw normal, two-dimensional, flat-screened Thursday night showing. But today I went to 3D IMAX, which my peripheral vision will never be the same because we bought the tickets a little late, so we were like 3 or 4 rows from the front. So we were I felt like I was literally in the movie. It was intense. But really funny is when you're that close to an IMAX screen and it's 3D and you have seen the movie already, usually you feel like you're free to kind of look around the screen a little bit more. Look into the background, looking for Easter eggs. I don't have to super concentrate on the one character that's talking on the screen. So when that happens, this movie is converted into 3D after the fact. So that just means a bunch of rotoscope artists went in and traced a bunch of stuff frame by frame. More power to them. But when you're that close to the screen, sometimes you can see a little bit of the mistakes. You can see some of the hair that wasn't clipped just right. And I swear out of the corner of my eye, I saw a part of Captain America's cheek went missing for 2 seconds. But I don't know if it actually was there. And also when you're that close, you can see practical things that they didn't get a chance to fix. No spoilers, but there's obviously scenes with Gamora in this movie because she's in the trailers. The Guardians are in this movie.
Well, you've already said Captain America, and we just start naming characters. They're all in here.
Yeah, so I noticed they get in really close to her, and especially with the screen, you can see a little bit of green paint on the collar of the points of her jacket, and I was just I would never see this on a normal screening. So if you want to see literally every detail of Infinity War, upgrade to the front row of an IMAX screen in 3D, and you will see literally everything. So it was a fun ride doing this in this dimension.
Well,
I would never do it for an initial screening. I think you got to kind of almost go in plain vanilla 2D and then upgrade later on for other viewings. But Chris, what about you? How many times have you seen it now?
Just once. I had to make some concessions to go on a Thursday night. We had to have people over this weekend, so
damn it, socializing ruins everything.
So I was only once, and that's fine. I would actually like to see it on a weekday, just rather than a weekend. Maybe get a little more breathing room in there, and I'm excited to go back again, but just once, just for people who have seen it. If you have seen it already, there are online versions of this movie. But do not make that your first experience watching this movie. Oh,
yeah. You're just hurting yourself. Can I throw out one more PSA before we kind of jump into the meat of the show?
You say whatever you want to say, Mike. It's our show.
One more PSA. I mean, the runtime of this movie has been out there for a while. It's not a short movie. It's not the longest movie I've ever been in, but you're committing time to it. So when you're taking kids of a certain age to this movie, by the end of it, they're going to get restless. Even all of the action on the screen will just become dull to them, just like teenage Groot. Everything is dull to him in this movie. So the end of this movie is very intense. Like, there's literally parts where the whole audio soundtrack drops out, and that is just the worst time I want to hear your kid down at the end of the row start, like, asking questions or, like, gabbing or just, just wanting to do anything but watch this movie. So maybe consider length and run times of these movies and how important this movie is to people that are seeing it. If you have kids and literally the only way you can see it is with them, like, try like an AM showing or something. Like, do people around you a favor. Like, we had some noisy people in our row. Luckily, it was the second time I had seen this movie, so it didn't really bother me that much, but felt bad for the people next to me that had to go through it. So PSA, like, you might have the most well-behaved kids ever, but after 2 hours of anything, they're going to want to change. They're going to want to get out of that theater and see some sunlight. So that's my last PSA of this episode.
Okay. Well, we'll see about that. It's still early. I mean, that's your first PSA of the episode, Mike. We can't hold anything back now.
Oh, geez, no.
Oh, no, not even. So we'll talk more about your experience in a second. I've got to give a shout out to Superfan Alan Toller, listener of the show. He stopped by this weekend. I had an old arcade cabinet. It didn't work. Nothing was in it. He came, and he's a really handy guy, knows welding, knows carpentry. He's going to fix it for himself. And so I handed the torch off, if you will, to him.
Oh, nice.
And he got to come in and see the office and where the recording happens and all the pop vinyls. And he just kept making it sound like, to him, I mean, we're celebrities, and I'm like, no, we're just normal people talking. He thought we were by each other every week as well. So that's really cool.
That's the magic that we try to keep up. Like, we do this show in our free time and on a budget, but we do our best to make it sure it sounds as professional as possible. So That is a big compliment. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so humbling. So thank you, Alan, for coming in and getting the stuff and just letting us know that we're doing a good job, because sometimes you just don't hear that all the time in the podcast world.
Yeah, and shout out to Sean out there, I would say our number one fan out there on YouTube. He's out there, he's listening. He checked out our review, and he's like our most critical fan, so I'm always looking out for him to like say he hates us about something. So everything went smooth on our Infinity War review with him. So we have pleased Sean out there on YouTube.
That's right. Sean is the YouTube guy. You want it up? I mean, he liked our review. He said, "Keep up the good work, Mike." I mean,
ooh, that feels good. Just wait until Aquaman comes out. I think he usually doesn't like it when we're a little too critical over there, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, thanks for everybody who's listening. Thanks to everybody who sent in the reviews or talked to me after they saw the movie or wanted to know my thoughts beforehand. I mean, it's just awesome that this movie's bringing a lot of people together, Mike. I think a lot of people are going out and seeing it. One of my friends, I know he doesn't listen, but he went and saw the movie, and he said it was easy to follow, even if he hadn't seen 90% of the movies on this.
See, I told you, Chris.
Yeah.
I said if you haven't seen any of these movies, just go see it because it's just a fun time. There's lots of punching and explosions. So there you go. So one person has passed the test.
Yeah, he did. Other than that, Mike, I don't have much else on the news front here. Other than I just want to brag, I got my first Mewtwo in Pokemon Go today, so no big deal.
Yeah, you were like, oh, it's okay if you want to go see Infinity War again today. I have a Pokemon Go raid to go to, so I'm going to be busy while you're doing that. So we were doing incredibly nerdy things today.
That's right. But other than that, we've already talked about Infinity War. Let's just go ahead and jump into the news for Infinity War, because that's, I mean, there's not a lot of news. I don't want to ruin it. We got to get onto the other things. So a review episode for Infinity War is now live, in case you didn't know. You can go, if you're subscribed to us, it's in the feed. You can head over to YouTube and get it there. Subscribe, search us up anywhere. Apple Podcasts, iTunes on the desktop, Google Play Music. Everywhere Mike says at the end of the show, you can find it.
That's right.
So you can go to this. It's spoiler free for like the first 10-12 minutes. There's a time code, so you can, if you start listening to it on accident, you will not be ruined. I promise.
Yes, that's true.
But just for our review, Mike, if people were like, "Hey, do we like it? Do we not like it?" What are we going to tell them right now?
I mean, I think the best way I like to tell people how I enjoyed this movie was it was literally jaw-dropping. You see that on movie posters sometime, and they like quote some sort of critic from some random magazine you never heard of, or even worse, some random user on Twitter gets their day in the sun and they get put on a movie poster. But it wasn't just like, oh, that was a good movie, someone said it was jaw-dropping. No, my jaw literally drops in this movie. It is intense. It is hilarious. Like watching it the second time, the jokes are just as good the second time. It's just fun. It's everything we've been waiting for these last 10 years, and you will not be disappointed. I would be hard pressed to find somebody that was disappointed by this movie.
Is anyone who's already a fan of any of the movies and then is disappointed.
Yeah. Actually, walking out of the movie today, I said to who I went with a friend named Jose, and I told him, I was like, this would be really interesting to talk to somebody who watched this movie who has never seen any of the other movies. I would love to hear someone's impression that just has no context on what's going on, talk to them about the ending. And so I don't know if we're going to find any of those people on this podcast, because that would be crazy. I don't know who listens to us that doesn't watch any of these superhero movies. It's the whole reason the show exists. So, but Chris, yeah, I love it. Huge recommendation. Still can't quite rank it. I don't know if it'll ever get really ranked, in my opinion. It's just such a different type of beast. But Chris, how did you feel about the movie? Well, spoiler free, of course.
I mean, to me, I think it says something if Mike sees a movie twice. It's usually good. That's how you know Mike's up on it. I'd say it's great. I don't think it's the culmination of 10 years, but like you talk about, this is kicking off the next year for us, waiting for the whatever the Avengers 4 is. And that's even more exciting because, like you mentioned, Game of Thrones, the next to last episode has all the action and the last one pays off. So
yeah,
I think that's where we're at. It is great. It's awesome. Want to go see again. I was cheering in the movie theater. I mean, I don't normally bother the people I'm with beside me, but I was tapping on their shoulders like, oh my God, can you see this? This is really happening. So you have to watch it in the theater. Again, I got to ask you, Mike, did IMAX make a difference on what you saw on the screen compared to your first time?
Yeah, I mean, actually, it did. It was a fun experience. I like seeing it in different formats on the second or third time because I get all the different angles. I would recommend the biggest, loudest format you can. Since I was really close to the screen and since it was really loud around me, I couldn't hear a lot of the audience reaction. But there are several key moments in this movie that even if you're in some sort of crazy Dolby Atmos, like speakers right up against your earlobes type of theater, you can still like hear that critical moment when a certain mystery character comes in or somebody appears over here. I'm trying to be very vague, but yeah, there's just key moments in this movie that I'm glad to hear the same audience type of reaction. So
cool. Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a good time. I look forward to going back this week. So we'll be talking more about it next week. But the thing is, Mike,
here we go, buddy. Here we go.
Do you think it made any money? It made the most money, Mike. The bigliest money in all of movie theaters.
All the money.
So right now, I mean, it's not closed up on Sunday yet, but right now it is. I think it's what, 250 million. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Which tops.
I need to double check that number because
it tops.
It's bigger than all Star Wars. It's the biggest one ever. So
because I believe Force Awakens topped off at like
250.
247, I believe.
Yeah, they're guesstimating 250. A lot of people are over 250 million. Disney's kind of on the back end of that, but they're just being modest because they always are. So it is the highest opening weekend ever. I don't think it had the highest Thursday, but it had the biggest superhero Thursday, which was previously held by, I believe, The Dark Knight. So that's really cool to know that. Internationally, I think is the most impressive number. It is $630 million internationally. Woo! That's over $100 million more than the next movie behind it, which I think was like Fate of the Furious or Fast 7, one of those movies.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
But it is not open in China or Russia yet, two of the largest markets. This is without China even bumping it up. So we are looking at over $1 billion before this weekend, and China's like May 11th. So
yeah, this is pretty crazy. I mean, the only question I had about this movie going into it performance-wise is I was curious if it was going to get the biggest opening weekend. So now that it has, almost with, it seems like ease, like I feel like it wasn't a fight to get up there. Now I'm curious what it's going to go on to achieve after that. Like even if you add up all of its total earnings, it's already almost in the top 100 of movies of all time. It's like just like I think it's like maybe like 115 or something like that. Like it's almost cracked that list, and just on its like first weekend. Like really, the only downside is it does have to compete with the summer. You know, Deadpool's just a few weeks away. There's going to be other big budget movies that's gonna demand attention from other audiences. But I just think the reaction, the crowd reaction from this movie is just so strong. You want to go see it twice, you want to go see it a third time, and you want to go see it bigger and better, and then you're telling everybody that they have to go see it or it's going to get spoiled. So I'm really curious what the limit of this movie is going to end up being.
Well, we'll talk about that in a minute. I've got some estimates on Deadpool opening up, and because it's different, it's an R-rated movie. It doesn't have the same market. At a guess, but I mean, I think for the month it's going to run, it's going to be fantastic. I think we're going to see record numbers throughout. Yeah,
also totally different budget. I mean, Infinity War, I think the rumored budget was like $500 million.
After marketing, it was $500.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous amount of money on one movie. So
and they got my money on the pop vinyl, so I mean they've already made it back.
You know they did. And I saw some people buying those like collector's cups at the movie theater.
Oh, yeah.
That I'm sure they spent like $20 on, and then they like threw them away. I saw a couple like SpiderMan head lids like in the garbage. I was like, you know how much that cup cost you?
Mike's over there digging them out, trying to sell them on eBay.
Exactly.
Lightly used popcorn bucket from Avengers. So
yeah, there you go.
I mean, without going into this for the whole episode, because we've already done one of those. I mean, Infinity War is smashing records, smashing expectations, and as Nigel Thornberry would say, it's just smashing. So that's a 90s reference for you. Let's move on to some news that might make your blood boil a little bit, Mike.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Overall, MoviePass has stopped multiple viewings of films on all plans, including Infinity War, on the eve of Infinity War.
Oh my gosh. And is this also for people that just have already had the service for a while?
The terms of service for everyone changed to no more multiple viewings of any movie.
You know, my favorite movie critic out there is a man by the name of Dan Merle, and I follow him quite close on Twitter.
Dan the man.
And he likes to refer to MoviePass as a great experiment. You know, he's also a MoviePass holder. He's like one of the biggest critics, but one of the
he's
most
passionate about it. That's what.
He's one of the most proponent users. So it's just like, I think you just, when you have a MoviePass, you just have to know that nothing is set in stone. At some point in time, you're going to get screwed over. So just get the value that you can out of it. If you don't think it's a value, just don't get it. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. Like if you don't think you can beat MoviePass at its own game, there's no reason to have one.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I never got one because I know my time. Like, the ability to watch movies versus my time to watch movies, they don't match up. And I would have loved to have it. But it sounds like, as Dan said, we're in phase 2 of MoviePass experiment, where it's all downhill. Even the CEO has got, after the support for MoviePass was like, yeah, we're going to bring back 1 ticket per day offering. The CEO was like, yeah, it probably won't return. Because the company Helios, who owns it, recorded a $150.8 million loss in 2017 from mostly MoviePass. So
yeah, I mean it's the gamble of like kind of these like disruptor types of startups. You know, they almost always run at a loss, you know, because they're really banking on the investors to keep them afloat so they can get more and more members and keep growing and keep growing and keep growing faster than any other competitor could if they were trying to make a profit. So I don't know if they're going to keep doing this. Maybe they're just going to try to stem the losses but still have loss. I don't really know. I mean, the part of the movie going experience that's broken to me is not necessarily the price, which is kind of what MoviePass is trying to defeat. The price of going to the movies. To me, it's just the awful people that I have to sit next to. I don't think that's anything MoviePass could ever solve. Now, if they could guarantee me like a peaceful going movie experience, which I think is impossible, yeah, whatever. I'll give you like $10 a month. That'd be totally worth it. But yeah, it's a problem that I just don't have.
So one of my friends, Andrew, I think he listens to the show sometimes. He suggested a movie-going rating system for people. So all the bad-rated people have to sit together, and all the good ones can sit together.
Oh, I like that idea. And then, like, maybe if the denseness of badness is high enough, just put a bubble around them. Or maybe just everybody gets their own little bubble. Like, me and my wife could go to the movie, and we could just put, like, this nice little isolation dome around us. And
so
we could
it's
just
a
watch
drive-in
the movie.
theater inside the theater.
Exactly.
You've got to clip off the speakers from the chair in front of you and pull it back.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, please.
See, what I would like, I would pay a premium for a more intimate theater experience.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people, the people taking their kids, wouldn't pay that premium, would they?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and there's some screenings out there that do like 21 plus, and that is helpful. But that just because you're over the age of 21 doesn't mean that you're not an annoying person
not at all.
Whips,
that doesn't stop
that
anybody.
whips out their phone. Like, I know this probably wouldn't work, and no one would ever do this. But I would love a theater where you had to like deposit your phone into like some sort of vending machine, and then that would let you into the movie theater. And like, I just want people dedicated to watching the movie. Like, just if your phone vibrates, just ignore it. Just, man. Well,
Be a normal person. Be a normal person when you go to the movies, okay?
That's all we want.
This isn't Walmart. This is the movie.
Yes, exactly.
So I agree. I totally agree. You're not alone. A lot of people agree with you, Mike. So
yeah.
I would pay a premium to have a private movie-going experience for these bigger ones, I guess. Yeah. So we'll see. Maybe the theaters will figure something out. I
mean, I think the single best way to avoid all of this is when these big movies come out, go on Thursday night, because that's the crowd you want to be surrounded by. They're serious about it, and you're serious about it. So that's why you always got to listen to Superhero Slate, and we'll let you know when those tickets are about to drop.
That's right. Also, MoviePass doesn't sound like a good idea anymore, so don't invest in it right now. Wait for the next version, the movie flicks or Netflix of movie. I don't know what's next. We'll figure it out. But for everyone who holds it, good luck and Godspeed. So
yeah.
So since it's movie time of the year, it's a Marvel movie time of year. We get about every 4 months we get one of these. Kevin Feige comes out of his Feige hole, and we get to hear a little bit about him. This year he did confirm that there's no Marvel Studios presence at San Diego Comic-Con this year.
Chris, I'm blaming you. And this is why I'm blaming you. I know you're going to get more down into these bullet points, and it's going to make total sense why we're not there. But I'm blaming you because we made a plan last year that you were going to be showing up the Comic-Con this year with me, and we were going to fight the line at Hall H, and we were going to get into that Marvel panel because we were timing things out, and that's where we'd be seeing the first clips of Avengers 4. And then you couldn't come, you couldn't get your badge, you couldn't manage it, and then now they're just like, well, if Chris isn't going to San Diego Comic-Con, this movie studio most certainly is not. So I think they follow your Twitter account, man. So I'm blaming you.
Well, I mean, if so, I feel honored. If not, well, son of a bitch.
No, that's not the reason.
No, it's not the reason. So, they're not going this year. It's right after Ant-Man and the Wasp. Captain Marvel's in March of next year. We'll probably see some of it. There's no D23 this year. I think they're just kind of taking a breather and letting us assume the worst for Avengers 4 because only, I think, the movies that are confirmed in production are Guardians 3 and SpiderMan at this time.
Well, the big question that popped up in my head when I saw this news was, I instantly thought like, oh, okay, they're just going to save the footage for probably like D23 or Comic-Con next year. Well, no, both of those things happen in July and August respectively. So that means there's not really going to be a big convention unless maybe they decide to go to New York Comic-Con, which usually is kind of held for kind of like their TV screenings. But I don't know, maybe they want to show up to New York Comic-Con for once with like movie footage. But maybe, so I'm almost expecting maybe some sort of like little Marvel like event or something.
Well, that's what they did for Phase 3 to begin with when they announced all the movies from, I believe it was Civil War all the way through what we have now, and they've had to add more. So it was their own event, and I think Marvel kind of commands their own thing. If Star Wars can have a Star Wars convention every year, Marvel can have their own too. I guess. So
yeah, because we still don't have the title for Avengers 4, which is actually something we thought we would have by now, actually. So they're probably going to do some sort of press event where they announce the title, maybe show some footage or maybe some like concept art for people in the crowd. So I guess we just got to keep our ears out and open for that. And who knows if they'll announce more of their movies coming up after that. I almost think that they would maybe wait until the Fox deal was done and maybe tease us with something else there. But I don't know.
They've got a... Well, maybe. I guess they really don't have anything other than SpiderMan, which is technically still owned by Sony next year. They would have their 3 movies a year, and so we really don't... They could wait until after Spider-Man.
Yeah, they could.
And not tell us, and that would be bold. That would be
bold. Well, what else did Feige say?
So he also, just to mention Avengers 4, he says the title commotion has gotten out of hand. He's like, it's not that, like, it's not as big as everyone's making. It's probably going to be disappointing now, but he just thinks it was a mistake to hold it back, but they're still holding it back, so they've got a plan on that. So we'll see what.
So I guess I'll do my best to temper my expectations, unless he's just being a little scrappy Feige, and he's just like, no, it's gonna be crazy. I'm just taking it even further back from you.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna guess maybe Ant-Man and the Wasp. We might get it, so people will have had time to watch this movie, and see where that kind of goes. Also, Kevin Feige revealed his favorite post-credit scene, which is the first one, Nick Fury, because it was the first.
Oh, that makes sense. I think I saw that question proposed earlier this week online. Like Kevin Feige reveals his favorite post-credit scene. I was like, I bet it's the first one. That's always what it is. He doesn't want to pick his favorite child, so he's just going to pick the most obvious one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that sounds good to me, I guess. I mean, it's not my favorite, I guess. What's your favorite, Mike?
Oh, man. My favorite post-credit scene... That is a tough one. I'm still kind of reeling over the post-credit scene from Guardians Volume 2, just because there were so many of them. I just like how many that we got. It was kind of like these fun little looks, kind of similar to what we got in movies in the past, where it was almost like, oh, what are the characters now? What are they up to? And then also we got to see that Adam Warlock reveal, which is going to be cool. I'm curious to see how that's going to build in the MCU. But yeah, Guardians have been pretty good with those. Yeah,
Guardians I think is good. Man, that's really tough to tell, isn't it? Like, once you sit and think about it.
Well, sometimes you just forget about them. Like when I was rewatching some of these Marvel movies like last week in preparation for Infinity War, like I was like, all right, hunkering down, the movie's over, time for those post-credit scenes. I was like, I don't even remember what post-credit scenes attached to this movie. So I would like wait around and was like, oh yeah, it's this one. Oh yeah, this is the one where we get to see.
I think the biggest one for me that has the most questions is probably Doctor Strange's.
Oh yeah, we don't really know what Mordo's up to, do we?
Yeah, so and to see what he's doing with when he said no more magic, so that one's up there. Or Thor, the first Thor, or at the end, I guess Iron Man 2, where you see Thor's hammer.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's a good feeling.
Good old Coulson.
Yep, and then he also says the shawarma in credit scene is simply because it was able to happen because they did not film that until like a week before the premiere. So
I love that.
That's really cool. Feige also says the horror genre might be next for the MCU, and that's okay.
Ooh, I like that.
I think that would be Doctor Strange 2, maybe.
Ooh, yeah, I would like that. I think I would be down for that.
I mean, like some interdimensional demons and stuff. Like, what was that old Scooby-Doo with like the 13 ghosts, and they had to go chase them down and put them back in the box? Kind of do that with Doctor Strange. Oh man,
we'll see.
Also the character Namor does not have clear-cut rights with Universal on the film, so we don't. Even though if Fox deal goes through, Hulk and Namor still kind of are in the gray area because of Universal owning the rights to those. So
man, Disney will just punch Universal with like a stack of money and just be like, "Give us our character back."
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just distribution rights, and that could get a lot of money. So hopefully they figure it out. But I honestly don't want to see a Hulk solo movie anymore. I like his team up movies, really good. So,
yeah,
I'm down with that. Captain Marvel is coming out, I believe, March of next year. We talked about earlier, and we've got our first look. We've talked about this many times of Nick Fury on set with Brie Larson, set in the 1990s.
Yeah, and he's got some very special dots on his face.
He does. So on this Twitter link here, I mean, I didn't see the note on the dots. You saw the note on the dots, and I just looked at his face. I'm like, oh, that motherfucker's got some dots on his face. So I started going through the pictures. I'm like, oh, yeah, right down the middle. This guy is going to have some de-aging effects on him because... Yeah,
but
He looks
You
old.
know what is crazy though? Like these are just like set photos from just somebody that was probably behind a barrier with a long lens. Like when he's like clean shaven, clean cut, like he looks a lot younger just than Nick Fury that we see in the movies. So I thought they're going to have to go through like, I'm not trying to say Sam Jackson is just like some sort of old wrinkly bag or something like that, but I thought they would have to do somewhat significant CG to his face. But looking at him from these like set photos, he's looking pretty good already. I was actually pretty shocked. So maybe it'll be a little bit easier to liven up his face. But I like that this is gonna hopefully keep him in the movie a little bit more than maybe just like an opening sequence like we saw in Ant-Man, where it was just, you know, maybe like 5 minutes of people de-aged and it probably cost them millions of dollars to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this movie.
They got a Snapchat filter on him that's doing it now.
Yeah. Like I think, I mean, there's so many questions, especially after Infinity War and, you know, how this dovetails into the next Avengers movie, because they're literally only like maybe like 6-7 weeks apart or something like that. So,
well,
yeah.
I think the important thing is here, Fury is still dressed up like Coulson would be. He's just an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. here.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
He's not the director. He's even got the Coulson haircut going on, the S.H.I.E.L.D. haircut. Brie Larson is still in her green suit, so really excited to see the colors pop on that. They say we're going to see the colors. I believe them. Really excited to see that. Brie Larson does look good as Captain Marvel. I gotta say, I really look forward to see her fight and punch some people in space. So
yeah, these set photos are doing her a little bit more justice than the other ones. I don't know if it's just the lensing or the distance or maybe the fit of the suit is a little different, but yeah, I'm digging these ones a little bit more.
Yeah, so we're gonna get our young Nick Fury. He's gonna look good. I'm really excited to see where Captain Marvel goes. I gotta say I'm a little more excited than Ant-Man and the Wasp on it, but simply because I think Ant-Man and the Wasp might be a little predictable. I want to be surprised. I want to be very surprised, but you never know. Captain Marvel's gonna, I think, smash all expectations. Mm-hmm. Black Widow, speaking of female characters in Marvel, they're looking for a female director for the film. No surprise there.
Yeah, might as well.
It worked for Wonder Woman. We love Wonder Woman, right? It's a good movie. Jessica Jones is all female directors. But Marvel Studios has met with directors Denise Ergüven. She's Turkish. She did a movie called Mustang. Chloe Zhao, who did The Rider, and I think it's Ama Asante. These are all very foreign language names. Who did a movie called The United Kingdom and other ones. So they're really getting down. If they're meeting with all these directors, they are serious about this movie. So
yeah. I mean, the only time I've really not enjoyed Black Widow that much was in Age of Ultron, but I don't think that was really her fault. I think it was just the kind of role that they gave her in the movie. So I think at least her character was redeemed for me in Infinity War. I think she's like extra levels of badass in that movie, and it's very believable. Like, you know, we've been with these characters for such a long time. Like, by the time they get to this movie, like they've been practicing for a while. They've had lots of experience out there in the battlefield. So Black Widow's just gotten more and more badass as the years have gone on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see her kick some butt.
Yeah, I think Iron Man 2 is probably my least favorite because she was more eye candy in that one and just was like there as a plot device. Because even in Age of Ultron, you may not like her scenes with Bruce, but I mean, when she was facing Ultron in South Korea, that was still really cool. Her riding the motorcycle around and doing all that stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to see a Black Widow film. Hopefully they'll get some announcements sooner or later, but they're actively doing it, Mike. I think we could see this maybe 2020 by at this rate.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So that would be cool. And I don't need a trilogy of Black Widow films. I think a nice solo film telling whatever story they need to would be great. Maybe setting up some future Marvel stuff with if they're doing a history of her. Mm-hmm. So that's cool with me. Spider-Man Homecoming 2, because we need a new title for this movie ASAP. Kevin Feige says that casting videos that were online about these international women characters have been completely out of context, and they do not confirm a femme fatale lead for the sequel. So that's cool. I mean, they really do throw people off when they do casting announcements, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit, actually.
Yeah, I just can't trust. Not maliciously, but I feel like it's super hard for me to trust Marvel lately, just because even the trailers that we get now don't really match up with the movies. Not really in a bad way, but they're always just trying to throw you off because they know how important it is to keep what they're working on secret. So you always just got to look around the corners a little bit, look beyond the smoke screen. Like, Feige, what are you doing? If you're saying these aren't the femme fatales, what are you hiding behind? Really, what's actually happened with Spider-Man? What are you trying to distract me from?
Yeah, I mean, it could have just been they set it up like that. They're looking for maybe another character, but maybe not a lead character or something like that. I don't know. Like, there's plenty of ways they could have done that.
I always think of things like, what if before the first Spider-Man movie came out, Homecoming, we got reports of just like, oh, Captain America was seen on set in costume in studio for Spider-Man. Cap confirmed for Spider-Man. It's just like, well, no, he was actually just there recording that little PSA for the students in gym class. And just like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So now I try to use that like context of just like, maybe these femme fatale casting photos were there, but who knows? They could have just been casting like somebody for like a dancer in the background or something. Maybe he goes to the red light district or
like
something.
An movie. Like they're making a little fake movie in the movie, and that's who it is. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But also, Feige did say that there's a global It's a global film that will not just be in New York with a villain that will play into that nicely. I'm thinking Kraven the Hunter, Mike. This is someone we've never seen before.
Yeah, I mean that would make sense globally. I would almost think you gotta throw a little extra villainy in there some way. You know, I don't know if Peter dispatches Kraven and maybe Mysterio by the end of the movie, but I really want to see Mysterio at some point, so it's hard for me to believe Kraven would hold down an entire movie. That's almost, to me, kind of like imagining like Ulysses Claw would be a villain for an entire movie. You know?
But they were able to use Vulture as a villain for an entire movie, though.
Yeah, but I think he worked really well. I mean, he's kind of like one of those big villains. He's got big on-screen superpowers.
Well, this version is, but the comic book version is an old guy in a feathered suit.
Well, they can make that look cool back then.
I think they can do Kraven. I think Kraven would be fine. Because I think he's playing a chess game. It's not just him versus Spider-Man the whole time.
Maybe they would throw in somebody like, oh God, what was his name? He's like the scientist that makes the spider bots. What's his name?
Smith, Alistair
Smythe,
Smith.
like a Smythe.
Yeah.
I think it's Smythe. Like something like that. I think that kind of duo would be cool.
I don't want two villains anymore. Every time they had two, we got Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. So
nah, this is the MCU though. I think maybe we can trust them. But I would almost expect maybe the Shocker comes back.
No.
Did he wasn't dispatched in the first one, wasn't he?
I mean, one of them was.
Well, yeah, one of them was, but
I don't,
either way,
yeah.
Kraven. But yeah, I agree. Kraven does work really well into that global context because Kraven's been all over the world.
The other one I can think of is a character called the Chameleon, who can look like anybody he wants to.
Oh yeah, I remember that character. But that's just kind of, we've seen Mystique in the movies for years now, so we've kind of seen what that power can do.
It's not a power; it's more of a skill set where he can blend in and become anybody. I mean, I could, if it's going global and he's dealing with maybe heist or something like that. It could be. I just don't want
Chris,
Mysterio.
You said my favorite word. I love heist movies.
I don't want to see Mysterio play second fiddle to another villain. That's my only concern. I want a Mysterio as the main villain film. So
maybe that'll be our third one.
We can only hope, Mike. Sony may be around for a little bit longer, it looks like, because they got some money last year, Mike. I didn't think they will. Jumanji and Spider-Man pushed the studio to a $376 million profit in 2017.
Good job, Sony. I mean, maybe that'll be enough for that new CEO of Sony Global or whatever you want to call it. I think he just kind of took over the reins either this month or starting next month. Maybe he'll look at that ledger again and he'll be like, okay, maybe I don't want to sell off this movie studio.
Well,
but
in 2016 they had a $719 million loss, so they haven't evened out quite yet.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we're putting the cart before the horse.
If you put it in context, Sony made a profit this year, but you gotta look at how much they tanked the year before.
Yeah. Either way, it seems like Sony has learned how to deal with Marvel, and maybe not so much Universal yet. Universal, I guess, has kind of technically different rights, but Sony should just like go out to coffee with Universal, just sit down, have a nice drink, and just be like, hey man, listen, you can make so much money if you just let Marvel use the Hulk however they want. Just sign on the dotted line. We get 50% or whatever, so much money back, and it's working out really great here. So, I don't know.
But I guess that's also if you want a Hulk solo film, which again I don't. So I'm okay teaming my Hulk up for a little while. So
yeah, I didn't realize this until I saw the movie for a second time. This is not a spoiler at all, but I didn't realize Mark Ruffalo had so much chest hair. So if you wanted to see how much chest hair Mark Ruffalo has, you'll get to see it.
Go look at his beard from the red carpet event. he's got a fuzzy face, so it all works out. Also, Sony Pictures, there's CinemaCon going on this week, Mike, and a lot of this stuff comes from CinemaCon.
I didn't know CinemaCon was a thing until this week. So much stuff came out of CinemaCon, and I was like, "This is a new thing? Did they want to get all this stuff out and didn't want to wait for Comic-Con? What's the deal?"
Well, CinemaCon's movies in general. It just so happens a lot of comic book movies showed up there. So, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was there, and they confirmed the 3 villains of the movie, Mike.
Tell me. I mean, I know I can read it. Tell me.
Ultimate Green Goblin.
Ooh.
Yep.
I like that.
He looks good. The Kingpin.
Okay.
And the Prowler.
Yeah, we saw the Prowler in the trailer.
And so, if you're not familiar, the Prowler is the uncle to Miles Morales. I forget his name. It's his uncle. So it's a personal villain.
I like these. I mean, I've been wanting to see the Ultimate Green Goblin on the big screen for a while. I kind of thought maybe we'd see it in live action first, but this is cool. If you're not familiar, Ultimate Green Goblin is basically just kind of like this hulked out abomination type creature, Jekyll and Hyde situation. I don't really remember if he has a glider at all in the Ultimate Universe. Maybe you would know better.
The Ultimate Universe, no, but the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon gave him one. But that was a whole different thing.
Yeah.
He retained his intelligence there, but in this one he's more like big Hulk, got horns coming out of his head. He's got fire abilities, he can light up his body with fire. So.
Yeah,
very
I got
goblin-y.
to see this. I got to see this trailer just recently again in front of a movie. I can't remember what it was. It may have been Infinity War on Thursday. I don't remember, but yeah, I keep forgetting this movie is coming out, and it just gets me excited every time. I love that kind of faux stop motion look to it, hyper visualized when he's jumping off the cars in the trailer with the comic book transitions and stuff like that. It's just everything I could have ever wanted in a Spider-Man animated movie. They gave it to me, which you can go back. You can find the podcast where we got the first news that this was going to be a thing, and you could probably hear me saying, this is a horrible idea. This is stupid.
6 months ago, Sony was not in our good books.
Yeah, but now I am on board. I'm really looking forward to this being a whole animated thing, because I thought that's what was going to come out of Big Hero 6, and no, that just ended up being a TV show, and we're not really going to see anymore. Oh man, if somehow Big Hero 6 could dovetail into this, ooh, Chris.
Well, they totally could do more Big Hero 6, because How to Train Your Dragon has a TV show in between movies as well, so it could totally work. However, in the Into the Spider-Verse, we know it's Miles Morales, Ultimate Spider-Man, as the main one. We find out Peter Parker did exist, but died at age 26 in this universe.
Oh, poor Peter.
And there's more to this story. I'm not telling anybody, but it is going to be interesting seeing how they weave all this together. I'm really excited about this movie, Mike. So. Oh,
me too. We're definitely going to be spoiler casting this one.
Yeah, that's gonna be a highlight of this winter. That's definitely. I think it's in December, so we're good to go. In a turn of wild events, Mike, we have a Venom, the first official trailer, not a teaser, for Venom, and I agree that this should be the first trailer you watch for Venom. By a long shot. We got it dropped. We leaked last Sunday. We leaked a little shot of it on our Instagram, and then the full trailer dropped at midnight my time, and we've watched it since then, Mike. We watched it right before here. What do you think? We haven't really talked about this a whole lot, but what do you think?
There's pros and cons in the trailer for sure. So I'm trying to put everything with a grain of salt because it is a trailer. And like we said, Sony has started to come back into our good graces, with Spider-Man Homecoming and this trailer for the Spider-Verse. So I'm trying to have the best outlook here. So things I like about the trailer. First of all, they got Venom perfect. He looks exactly like Venom. It's exactly what I wanted.
Man, that suit reveal too, where it comes over his head and the teeth mashed together with the tongue out and everything. It just looks so great.
Yeah, it's sick. And if you like, all the superhero stuff like on social media, every once in a while you'll come across like people trying to like tweak the designs to how they should have been. And the tweaked version of this Venom looks a lot like what the original was. Like someone just like curved the eyes a little bit at the outer edges and put a little bit more drool around it, but like this is almost comic book Venom right off the page.
I do have to say, if you watch closely at the end where he reveals himself, you can see like the black little wisp in his eye, the whites of his eyes. It's all moving. Like it's not a static costume either. Like it's all like, and it's like a very, I guess, a fluid like look to it.
And if you track down this trailer in 4K, you can kind of see some of the white patterning just going through his suit in general. So I think we might see some sort of design or pattern on his chest. I can't imagine it would be a spider because the symbiote has not been on a Spider-Man yet, so it wouldn't make any sense to have any sort of design there. But we'll see. So other things I liked was, I kind of like these weird moments where Tom Hardy is in the trailer kind of talking to himself. He almost seems like a little schizophrenic and crazy. He's like, no, we can't do that. That's not a good idea. And then you hear like the Venom conscious kind of talking to him. Like that actually kind of worked for me because it was just kind of weird and it just fit this weird kind of tone of the movie that we're going with.
I want to know who's doing the voice because that voice is creepy and is deep and raspy. It is. They nailed the voice on. If I was like, oh, what's Venom sound like? Oh, that's that guy. It's this guy right here.
Yeah. So, and if I had to pick out things that are kind of bugging me, I know it's just kind of surface and maybe they could fix this with ADR, but like there's a person in the beginning of the trailer that's pronouncing it symbiote. Like a lot of emphasis on the I, and I think most people call it like symbiote. I know it's just all inflection, but it's just like, I think you really want to nail that right when you're talking about your trailer for your movie. So, and then they say it twice, like really close together. So hopefully this isn't like a symptom where everyone's saying it like this. So I guess we'll find out. And some of the Tendrils, like friend of the show, Quentin Parker, when we had that leaked footage going around, he's like, oh, I got to see the Tendrils. So we do get those in the trailer, but there's a scene that I don't really like where Tom Hardy's like going over like a hill and he loses his grip on his motorcycle and it's falling away from him. But then like these black tendrils come out and grab it and bring the motorcycle back to him. And I was like, I don't know. It just looked kind of cheesy. It didn't look bad. I was just like, I wasn't really digging that specific scene, but I have a feeling it's not going to be like that the whole movie. So yeah, so a mixed bag. This should have been the first trailer.
Yeah, so a lot of the scenes from the first trailer have been added and upgraded with those tendrils and the suit. So they're obviously working on this. They're revealing it slowly to us. I think a takeaway is here, there's multiple symbiotes in this, or symbiotes. If you look it up, it's actually pronounced both ways. So Mike's nitpick is... It can go
not in my house, Chris. Yeah. Not in my house.
So, but there are multiple ones. You see multiple people infected that they're testing it with in the Life Foundation, and there's also some of the reveal shot showing multiple goo vials at the beginning as well.
Ooh, gotta love that goo.
So I think we're still gonna see the other symbiotes play into this of different personalities. There's a spaceship landing, so they're come from space. I do love the tendrils, even though Quentin I don't know if he likes them or just wants more of them. As they're revealing more, I do like what we've seen so far. That it comes off of him and hits the people. It looks really cool. That's how I would imagine a symbiote suit on Eddie whenever it's like he's not fully revealed. That's just really cool. I'm very excited for this movie now, and it's hard to say that sometimes out loud because they have messed this character up so hard before.
And also the really weird thing that we keep forgetting, or at least I keep forgetting, it's rated R. So this has the possibility to get really bloody and brutal.
It's to be rated. The plan was R. If it changes, though, don't hold us to that. So But I mean, geez, that's just fun. I actually saw the original.
Jeez Louise!
We saw the original Venom trailer before Infinity War, and it was kind of disappointing to me because I was like, I really want the new one because you can see where there was tendrils there now. Like this is much cooler. So so Sony, that's pretty good.
Tweet at us with our tendril count. How many times did we say tendril this episode?
At least 10. droll times.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you set yourself up there.
On to the next thing, Chris. I can't do this with you.
That's all right. Morbius, the living vampire movie, was apparently in Sony's wheelhouse last year. Antoine Fuqua, who did Magnificent Seven, was approached by the studio to helm this movie, but he passed on it, and we've not heard anything. No one has heard anything since then. So this movie may be like Silver and Black, where Sony's like, we're just going to delay it indefinitely.
Good. Yeah. Good. Keep your solo weird standout movies close to the chest and keep them close to Spider-Man's wheelhouse, you know. Eventually, I want these characters to circle back around to the MCU because, yes, Venom is made by Sony, but Venom is a Spider-Man character, so technically he's in the MCU.
No, but yes.
Yes, he is.
No.
He is indeed.
Stop that. You're going to confuse everybody. I forgot the Venom trailer now says in association with Marvel, which was the first time we've actually seen that. So we don't know where it stands in terms of MCU because everything else has just had the regular Marvel logo for Marvel characters. So this in association with Marvel is brand new. We're going to see how it plays off because I think this and I guess the distribution rights for it would be the only movie left after Fox is bought up that's, I guess, studio that still has that Marvel rights. So we're gonna see how that plays out. But Morbius, I would like to see him in a Venom sequel if they were to bring him in and then bring it into the MCU together because Morbius really isn't that interesting of a character at the end of the day.
He's like a vampire. I mean, there's cool things about vampires, but like I'd rather see like a Blade reboot or something than a Morbius movie.
Put him in with Blade then. I mean, like,
ooh, yeah, that would be sweet. Like I can already see it. They announced Blade as a movie, or maybe even as like a TV show on their Disney streaming app. We get the first reveal trailer and, we see Blade like cutting up a bunch of vampires. That's cool and all. And then we get the second trailer for it. And then that's where you see Morbius teased. And then the internet explodes and they start freaking out. So that's what you got to do.
Yeah. I mean, whatever you got to do, you got to do. But I would put Morbius in a Blade movie if they're going to deal with vampires. So
yeah,
that'd be
just
cool.
Makes sense.
Deadpool 2, we've got some reveal on Julian Dennison's character, the kid, if you will, in it. A promo on Twitter has revealed his name is Hot Stuff, which is really, I think it's a joke, play on words, but also, like, have you seen Hunt for the Wilder People?
No, I haven't.
You should probably watch that. That character's in. It's also Taika Waititi's film before Thor, so I don't think it lives up to the hype, but it's still a good movie all around. But the character, his name is Hot Stuff. There's no Marvel character tied into that. We've tried to find it. Doesn't work. Doesn't look out. So guess that's what we got to call him. At least he's not Pyro, I guess.
Sounds like a Hot Wheels car. I'm down.
Yeah, or like, some sort of like stripper name, I guess. Who are you going to call? Hot Stuff. But in good news for Deadpool, XForce has officially entered pre-production, Mike.
Hey, there you go.
And is described as a black ops force of down and dirty mutant warriors who are far more ruthless than their X-Men counterparts.
Oh, it's funny how they say X-Men counterparts, that they're alluding to that there should be X-Men still out there in the universe.
Well, this is not an official synopsis. This is just a description of the movie. Like, this is someone saying, here's what X-Force is if you had no idea what it is.
Okay.
Domino, played by Zazie Beetz, and Cable, of course, Josh Brolin, are to return in the film and will release is next year. They're shooting for next year release with filming in October.
Yeah, it's weird that this movie is called X-Force because when that Deadpool 2 trailer came out a couple weeks ago, they specifically, I think they even say X-Force in the trailer, right? So it's just kind of like, well, what's the difference between Deadpool 2 and the X-Force movie? Are they just getting different costumes and maybe officially becoming a team? I don't know. We'll find out.
I mean, my assumption is that the X-Force, I mean, who knows how long these characters are going to live in Deadpool 2? Because it is Deadpool 2, and they could be like, yeah, we've got all these really like D-list characters. We're like, yeah, we're just gonna kill them off real quick because it's all a joke. And then maybe Cable and Deadpool put aside their differences and make an X-Force to handle other things, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
But I mean, we've talked about the Fox movies wrapping up. This is not one of those movies wrapping up. So again, it could put into the notion that Deadpool exists outside of the X-Men universe as we know it, and can easily be brought into the MCU or just exist alongside it without making more references, but it doesn't have to be like, oh, Deadpool's in the Avengers now kind of thing. So
yep, that is the beautiful point of being a Deadpool in any sort of fashion or universe, you can just cross over very easily.
Ryan Reynolds did share a letter of Deadpool getting rejected by Tony Stark for the Avengers on Twitter today. So
yeah, I saw that. It just said like it was like one line. It said absolutely not or something.
No,
like that.
absolutely not. Go bother Professor X, and then it said no again. So that was really fun. They have a good time. Ryan Reynolds is good. Did you see him also singing in Hugh Jackman's like hotel room in his Deadpool suit this week?
Whoa, no, I did not.
Hugh
see
Jackman's
that.
like wishing someone a happy birthday, or it was his birthday or something, and then he was singing, but there's like you hear someone singing in the background. He moves the camera over, and it's Ryan Reynolds in his Deadpool suit in Hugh Jackman's hotel room, like
awesome,
messing up his stuff. Which makes me think, why is Hugh Jackman with Deadpool?
Cameo. I'm hoping for a cameo.
A real life cameo this time. None of that magazine face shit they did in the last one. Dark Phoenix has dropped the X-Men from his name, Mike.
Why'd you have to say the D word, Chris?
I gotta say it. It's in the news. It's gonna happen. We can't avoid. This one's one we can't avoid. Gambit we can probably avoid. This one is unavoidable. However, they have dropped the X-Men name from it, so they're not calling it X-Men Dark Phoenix anymore. They're just calling it Dark Phoenix, and if you see from this logo revealer at CinemaCon, the X has like an X-Files look to it, and that's where they're focusing the X-Men part of this on. So
all right, February 14th, right below it. So weird seeing this movie come out in February, a month that has been kind of slotted for kind of rated R, weird kind of counter programming movies to kind of go against those Valentine's Day love movies.
I mean, Black Panther.
Well, yeah, I'm saying it's different nowadays.
You just don't like seeing bad movies in February, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. I want February to be a fun month to look forward to. You know what? This is going to be, we talked about this a little bit the other week. If this is going to be the last X-Men movie, hopefully it syncs back up with X1 and we can just have this nice, perfect circle and at least leave the theater with a slight smile on my face.
You know what the people are saying, right? This is the last X-Men movie from Fox. You can't hold anything back now.
Chris, goddammit.
So, but I mean, they had this, there's another piece of paper they handed out that just said Dark Phoenix. So they are disassociating themselves with the X-Men name as we get closer to Disney buying them out. So we may not have, the next official X-Men title movie may be from Marvel. So that's interesting to think about. DC Films got some news here from CinemaCon as well. I just want to go through this really quickly because we have nothing from it other than reports. The Aquaman got footage screened, and apparently there's no air bubbles underwater. They can talk without air bubbles underwater, so that's cool.
Okay, that's good to know.
The characters look like their comic book versions, like Black Manta and I forget the other person. I forget the main villain going up against Aquaman. He apparently looks really much a lot like the character he's supposed to look like, and
man, I'm hoping Black Manta just looks sick. He's got to look awesome.
They said it looks pretty good, so I'm excited to see. Cool. They did some previs stuff. I'm really excited to see the end version of this footage. Shazam had some behind the scenes footage showing Zachary Levi having fun. Apparently he was recreating the scene from Big in it because it's about a kid getting the powers of a god and turning into like a fully grown man, so it's like Big. Will that make it into the movie? I don't know. We'll see, but they did it. And Wonder Woman 2 is officially set in the 80s for coming up. So
that's gonna be a good setting for Cheetah coming into it because if you're gonna be in the 80s, everything back then was kind of leopard print anyway, so that might work out in their favor.
The 80s. I mean, I'm still rocking it today. So there's some DC films. We don't have a lot. They're kind of gone radio silent. So we're gonna have to wait on them to give us some news. Dumbo got his first look from the upcoming Tim Burton live-action adaptation. They're knocking him out of the park at Disney, so hopefully they do good here. But here's our Dumbo with the big ears. I believe it's a real background with just a CGI elephant. I can't tell, Mike. It's an off-screen shot. It's not the perfect thing, but does that look like a Dumbo to you?
I mean, it looks like an elephant with big ears. I mean, the Tim Burton name doesn't sell me as much as it did in the past when we were kids. So the fact that he's making a Dumbo movie isn't really selling me. So I wasn't a big Dumbo kid growing up. I think I've maybe seen the movie like once. I don't even really recall what happens in it. So
he can fly with those ears.
I mean, the Disney already has me sold on Winnie the Pooh. That movie just looks so sweet. It looks so just saccharine. I'm just gonna smile the whole time like a warm blanket.
Did you see the photos of Tigger and Piglet and Eeyore?
Yes, I did. It made me want to see it even more. Like I immediately sent those pictures to my wife in a text message. I was just like, I can't send this to my adult male friends, but I'll send this to my wife, and the caption was, "These characters look so cute."
You can send it to me, Mike. I won't judge you.
Okay.
So there's Dumbo from CinemaCon. Stranger Things also kicked off production on season 3 this week as well.
Okay.
So for Stranger Things, I don't think it'll make in time for this year, Mike. I think we're gonna have to wait till 2019 for the premiere.
Yeah, those kids are going to start growing up pretty quickly, so I hope they can adapt to that. It was kind of weird because I feel like we're getting into this notion of like these really big budget, really cultural defining TV shows might just end up taking middle years off. I mean, we see it with Game of Thrones. Obviously, it's the very last season, so it feels a little unique. But if Stranger Things feels like it's okay, I mean, Westworld just came back after a year off.
Well, it's more like 18-month production cycles rather than 12-month production cycles. So.
It's just like I know it's hard to make TV shows and turn them around that fast. So it's only going to be better quality. Like I'm not mad that it's taking a while, but I'm curious if this is going to be like the new thing. Like I haven't seen this new Lost in Space show on Netflix yet, but it looks like it's really high budget, and if people really like it, maybe that's a type of show that'll also need like a year gap to make more episodes because it just costs a crap ton of money.
When did Legion season 1 come out? I gotta look this up
Legion
now. It was 2017. It was a year. It was a year.
Okay.
It was February. It was a little over a year, but yeah, okay, great. I just want to make sure I wasn't off on that. So yeah, gotcha. I mean that's cool. I mean that's cool. But that brings us to the next point of Netflix. There's some new research out for Netflix. Showing that the most popular program on Netflix is sci-fi shows, Mike.
Yeah, that's right. Bow down to your nerd overlords.
That's right. Such as Stranger Things, Altered Carbon, Mute, Cloverfield Paradox, Annihilation, and Lost in Space. Now, while not all of these are good choices...
Yeah, that's why I'm laughing, because it's like, okay, first thing good. Okay,
people are watching them because they're on Netflix. So
yeah, that's true.
You don't have to go buy a ticket to see Cloverfield Paradox when you've already paid your $8 for the month or whatever.
Please do not give that movie any more money.
Yeah.
If there's a way you even could.
Annihilation is okay. I'm glad I didn't see it in theaters. So
yeah.
But I mean that's really cool. They're doing all that. I wonder if superheroes fall under sci-fi.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they would have to. I mean, I know they're buying rights from other like comic book worlds and authors and stuff because eventually they're going to be pushed out of the Marvel business. I mean, we're getting more of Marvel shows. We're getting like Luke Cage later this year, and then who's after Luke Cage?
Daredevil season 3, Iron Fist season 2, and Jessica Jones season 3, and Punisher season 2.
Yeah, and like those are supposed to be in the MCU, and still no spoilers here, but we all know. There's lots of craziness that happens in Infinity War. I'm still curious how these TV shows are going to dovetail into it because we got a whole another year until another Avengers movie. So, I guess you just got to backdate all of these shows before Infinity War to kind of just, unless you want to deal with some ramifications. I don't know, man.
We'll see how this all plays out in the end. But I mean, I'm okay with my Netflix shows not really touching it. We'll see. We'll see how we got to wait. That's really all we can do at this point is just wait. So we'll check that out, but I mean that's cool. I mean, I haven't really turned on my Netflix in a while, so I need to go back in.
Oh,
we watch a lot of other stuff. On demand stuff is a little easier for us right now, so we're watching all of that.
Well, they don't care. They're getting your money, and you're not using their bandwidth. So
that's true. But we are in a new TV season. We got Legion and Westworld and a bunch of other stuff. So it's hard to watch Netflix when new shows are coming out you want to watch. Mm-hmm. Star Wars Resistance is a new animated series coming from Disney this fall, and it'll focus on the era before The Force Awakens and after Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. The guy who plays Poe Dameron, I forget his name, and the actress who plays the Chrome Stormtrooper, Gwendolyn Christie, will be doing voices for this show. So I expect Captain Phasma and Poe to show up in it. But I don't know what to expect from this other than this one screenshot we have of it.
Yeah. I think I saw a little bit of reports that the creator of this show is really infatuated with the idea of like dogfights and aerial battles, so that kind of makes sense why you're kind of seeing one of the... Is that an X-Wing that's in the title?
Yeah, it's a sideways X-Wing.
Yeah, and it's yellow for some reason, so I think we're going to get a lot of aerial stuff in there, but is it 2D or 3D? I don't remember.
This is two-dimensional, it looks like.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll see. But, yep, you can always expect that there's going to be Disney cartoon shows for Star Wars.
I'm really surprised they're not putting this on their streaming service, but maybe they're saving that for their live action, their bigger budget one. Because if this is just generic 2D, kind of like the Tangled and the Big Hero 6 movie that came out, they might be saving that for the Disney Channel, and the streaming service will get the nicer stuff. So
possibly
we'll take a look at that. The Watchmen TV series coming to HBO is not.
I forgot about that little guy.
Yeah, they're working hard on this. Apparently, the series is not a direct adaptation of the comic series.
I think that's okay.
That's totally fine with me. We don't need to see that again. And the leaked descriptions don't contain any recognizable characters by fake names or descriptions, but knowing how it's run by Damon Lindelof and HBO and Watchmen, they may be throwing things off, leaking things on purpose to throw off the sense of what they're doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. It'll be curious to see where they take this because, we've already had a movie with Zack Snyder, and some people don't like it. I like it. Some people think it's too long. Some people don't like the ending. Some people do. So I think we've had enough of those Watchmen. Maybe use them, but in a different setting in this show.
Well, I don't know how you can make a whole TV series out of that. I mean, like multiple seasons of a show. You know what I'm saying? Like they would have to build new stuff or find a way anyway. So don't back yourself into the corner from the get-go. I'm okay with this. John Wick 3 is reportedly eyeing Halle Berry as the female lead, Sophia, for the third movie. She's in talks for this, and apparently her character has a small child in the film. No dog that I've found. So,
all right, you always got to look for the vulnerable death there, because that's really what's going to fuel John Wick.
Yeah, he's fueled by it. She's fueled by it. I don't know if she's a bad person or a good person. I still haven't seen the second one, so I need to do that probably before.
Yeah, go watch it, man. Go watch it.
Well, now that Infinity War is out, I can. Okay, I can do what I need to. Star Trek is moving forward with another movie, and it's not the Tarantino movie. S.J. Clarkson, who has directed episodes of Jessica Jones and The Defenders, will direct the fourth film in the franchise, no title yet. But Tarantino's script is still being developed, and that this one is a follow-up to Star Trek Beyond first before they go into Tarantino's separate thing.
Yeah, I think that's cool. I think I heard that this would be the first female director to ever touch a Star Trek movie, so that's a good glass ceiling to break. So looking to see what they bring to the franchise. I don't know, like Star Trek just doesn't have as much like bombastic fanfare around it as Star Wars does. So maybe they can get a little creative and they don't have to please the same fans,
Yeah, well, I think also Star Trek lends itself more to the television series, since that's where it got its start and everything is. I mean, even the new one, I forget what it's called, Discovery, is doing really well on CBS.
Yeah, I hear it's very good. I need to watch it. Yeah. I've seen a couple episodes, but I need to catch up.
Yeah, so that's out there. With multiple Star Trek films in development, great. They need to, because it's been too long since Beyond to even think about it. So keep more in, and you can probably maybe knock it out of the park again like you did with that first one. So I'm on board with this. The movie Glass got a poster at CinemaCon and a teaser, but it's not leaked yet. But the first promo for Glass looks like we have some sort of wrestler, Prince from Purple Rain, and the Green Arrow all standing together.
But obviously that's not who it is. It's Bruce Willis hiding under his little raincoat, if you remember from Unbreakable. He's got Samuel L. Jackson up front in his purple suit, as you said. And then, what's his name? That's why I saved him for last.
James McAvoy, and he plays the Beast.
McAvoy.
Or the Horde, yeah.
Yeah, from Split. Split was a great movie. I love that movie. Crazy intense. I don't think Unbreakable holds up. I think it's still a good movie, but you just got to know the time that it came out in. It's like it's almost, I don't want to say it's so juvenile, but it's just so far behind the times of all of these superhero movies because it came out before them. So to me, I don't think it's as crazy it would have been if you saw it maybe the day or the weekend it came out in theaters. But I don't know. Bruce Willis, he's got mixed receptions out there in the world right now. He's been doing like straight to DVD movies, which is not a good sign.
Well, it's okay. I mean, after the success of Split, I think Shyamalan and Ding Dong here might come back with Glass. I mean, it's got Anya Taylor-Joy returning and another character who plays some sort of therapist because some of these people have been locked up, maybe. But I mean, I'm kind of on the other fence, knowing when Unbreakable came out. I think it tells a movie differently than any other movie does, but I also don't think it's a superhero movie. It's weird because it's not quite there yet. They want you to guess if it is, but I'm really excited they're tying these all in together.
It's like great. M. Night. Yeah, like M. Night is like the only guy out there who like backed himself into like a superhero trilogy. Like, guess what, guys? So
with good movies on accident. Any other movie could have been bad, but he did it with the good ones. Thank God. So
yeah, Unbreakables. Yeah, definitely, it's not bad. But yeah, I love Split. Split's such a good movie. Go watch Split right now. I think it might still be on HBO. So
yeah, it's definitely something you need to rent or watch. Lastly, we're going to end on some nostalgia here, because I know you're a big nostalgia sucker. The Paramount film shows off the logo for Sonic the Hedgehog movie. And if that doesn't throw you back to Sega times, I don't know what does.
Oh, man. Sonic the Hedgehog in a movie. I'm assuming it's not live action. I would hope it wouldn't be, because that would be so weird.
It's hard to tell with that background behind the logo.
Yeah, it's a very photorealistic background, but who knows? It's kind of like an off focus, slightly off tilt photo. I don't know. Sonic is such a weird character design when you look at him. He's got just like he's like this top heavy hedgehog that resembles nothing of a real world hedgehog. At least Mario somewhat resembles a plumber, So, I don't know. Sonic has always just been made fun of for so many years because they've tried to take the character into these big cinematic directions with all of these big flops of video games. Like Sonic game after Sonic game has just flopped and flopped and flopped, just horribly developed, and just like these high concept visual cutscenes that just seem very weird with this very bright hedgehog. So I don't know. I guess we're getting a Mario movie now. We're getting a Sonic movie now. They're probably going to cross over and shake hands and be buddies.
No, they won't do that. Nintendo won't let their movies play with anybody else. If you remember what happened last time, it was not good for Nintendo. So let's see here. I'm just trying to look. It's a mix of live action and CGI.
Wow.
But here's the thing. When's the last Sonic game you played?
Well, the thing is, I do have a passion for watching a lot of Let's Play videos because it's kind of like an offshoot of a podcast to me. I kind of throw them in the corner of my monitor while I'm working, and I've watched several series of a lot of Sonic games, and they all look very bad. So and the people playing them always comment on how bad they are. So yeah, not firsthand experience, but I think if you
the newer ones have been really good. I think there's a mobile one that's like Sonic Dash or Sonic Mania or something like that.
Yeah, there is one that just came out, but the reason why it's so good, and I actually watched a trailer of it recently because I think they're adding some new characters to it. It was quoted as like the best new Sonic game ever. It's because it's 2D. It's like literally like the first Sonic game. That's why it's good, because they went back to their roots. So, but I'm sure the movie is going to look nothing like 2D Sonic.
No, playing Sonic 2D makes more sense. I like the 3D ones. And what was it? There was a Dreamcast one. Was it Sonic Adventure, maybe?
Where you had like the little like Togepi things or like Tamagotchis that you could grow or whatever.
I didn't play it. I just know a lot of people had it. And then there was another one. What the hell was it? Oh, Sonic Racing. It's like Mario Kart, but it actually was fast rather than Mario Kart speeds, which kind of cut along.
Well, I would imagine that's going to be the tagline in this movie of "Gotta go fast," because I think that's his tagline.
He might. He's just got maybe it's an ad for people who need to go to the bathroom. Just gotta go.
Gotta go fast.
Just gotta go. There's no fast. Just gotta go.
The cross promotion with that movie.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So CinemaCon gave us a lot this week. Marvel gave us some stuff this week, and that's it, Mike. That's our show notes. We wrapped it up. We're done.
Whew, man, I was looking forward to this episode. It's kind of almost like the fallout of Infinity War. What were we going to talk about? So hopefully no one out there got spoiled. Go see that movie. You'll still be safe next week, but after next week's episode, I'm just going to start
He's going to open the show with the biggest spoiler possible.
Yeah, that's right. So prepare yourselves. Get ready. This is Superhero Slate that you're listening to after all. We're going to talk about this stuff. I feel like I'm a dad. Like, now we're going to talk about this stuff, so you really need to be prepared.
You need to sit down, and you're an adult now. We need to talk about adult things like Infinity War.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So anyway, Mike, if people want to know what you're up to this week, maybe you go see Infinity War a third time. Where can they find you at?
Well, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter, and you can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to keep up with you and see when you actually get to see Infinity War for a second time, because I am shocked that you've only seen it once. I'm sure you're going to go to run and see it as soon as you can. Where can they follow you?
You can find me on Twitter at Valdan, Valdan. You can also head to my Instagram. Find me at Valdan87. Posted all my pops with their pictures of the movies this week, so You can go find them on there. See all the choices I had to make. It's very hard. Very hard choices. Also head over to Comic UI, where we post our C2E2 interviews every Wednesday until we run out of them. So we're going to be doing that for a little bit.
Good strategy.
That's right. Until then, Mike, if people want to know more, maybe listen to our spoiler-free version of the Infinity War review, the first 10 to 12 minutes. Where can people find more of our shows at?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com. That is the best place to find all the avenues we host our show here and to get our awesome show notes. So if you want to check out that Star Wars Resistance screen thing or any of these other official trailer links that we talked about today, you can get all of that in our show notes at superheroslate.com, and you can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, and you can like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to get some merch for the show, head on over to superheroslate.com/story. We got like t-shirts over there, hoodies, depending on whatever weather or climate you live in. I hear sometimes it's still snowing in April.
You know what? I got to give a shout to Jason, Superfan show. He wore a Superhero Slate shirt to the Infinity War premiere.
Whoa, standing ovation
That's
for
right.
me right now.
That's right.
I mean, I don't want to do that in front of the mic. I might scare you. But that's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, merch is out there, man. People are buying it. It looks good.
Yeah. If you're a fan of the show, please consider leaving us a review. I've actually seen 1 or 2 reviews pop up over there on iTunes/Apple Podcasts, so I super appreciate that to you kind folks out there. So if you love the show, we love that type of feedback. We love hearing from you on YouTube and comment sections, the upvotes, the retweets. Reach out to us. We love hearing from you. And if you want to be a super fan of the show, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week. We're gonna be tracking this Infinity War movie for the next couple weeks. We got to see how much money it makes. So make sure you're subscribed, and we'll keep you updated.
That's right. You come on back now. You hear? All right. We'll see you guys next week.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Are we at the point where The Simpsons are, where we don't know if we've already done it?